This is a special meeting. It's 12:10, and I call this meeting to order. Item number 2, roll call and establishment of quorum.
Orlando Nocentino present.
Joel Garcia present.
Javier Ramirez present.
Alexandra Flores present.
Jail Perez present. I believe the mayor is running a little bit late, so do I have a motion to excuse?
I motion to excuse.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 3, invocation and pledge of allegiance. Guide us.
Yes. Heavenly Father, we thank you for another day of life. We thank you for the many blessings you've bestowed upon us, Father God. We ask blessings upon our community, Father God, and our leaders, Father God. We ask that you give them wisdom and knowledge, Father God, and guidance to make the best decisions in the interest of the city, Father God. In Jesus' mighty name we pray, amen.
Pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 4, certified posting of agenda.
Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and council members, the agenda was to be posted as required by state law at least 72 hours prior to the start of the meeting.
Thank you, Ned. Item number 5, public comments.
No one signed up.
Item number 6, new business. 6.1, discussion and possible action to award buy board vendor Rush Truck Center for 2 new 2023 Hino Peterson Brush grappler trucks and 1 new 2023 Peterbilt New Way RJ side loader garbage trucks and 1 new 2023 New Way Peterbilt front loader garbage trucks and 1 new 2023 Peterbilt front loader with a Corrado can in the amount not to exceed 1.686 and authorize the mayors to execute in related documents. Staff by city manager.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, apologize to everybody for the short notice and the urgency, but there is an urgency, and you're going to hear as to that urgency. As you all know, we've been planning for a while about doing our own trash pickup in the city of Palmview. We did a feasibility analysis. Everything looked favorable. We started making inquiries as to equipment and so forth. We've actually put aside the funds ready to go to make these purchases of equipment. And as we started meeting with the brokers that are involved in this process and some of the manufacturers, what we constantly hear from each of them is that time is of the essence. It's going to take at least 12 to 18 months just to get the trucks in once you order them. So you want to order it soon. And number 2, there's a limited supply as to the number of trucks that can be issued. For example, there could be 15 trucks, and the first cities that sign up to try to get those trucks and issue a PO are going to get that. They can't reserve them. They can't hold you, hey, we'll save you 2 or stuff like that, because there's such a high demand because of the shortage of these as well. Time is of the essence, so cities are having special meetings just to try to get in line to do this. So we called this meeting and speaking with the mayor and Mayor Pro Tem on Friday to explain that urgency. This will allow us to move forward, again, just to put the order in. We're still at least a year away, if not longer, from actually doing the truck. But again, this puts our order in so that we can get in line, so to speak, and get started. This is a buy board vendor approved, so when they're buy board vendor approved, of course, they've already gone through a process. They've been vetted by the buy board, and they're guaranteeing that they're giving us our best price out there. We've looked, we've compared, we've seen other prices, but we all agree that this particular package gives us the ability to do what we need to do here in Palmview. It's 1 front loader, which will be commercial because it has it on the front, right? Mm-hmm. There's a side loader that'll do residential, and so it's unique to residential. They cannot back each other up. They cannot cover each other up. So if one goes down or one needs routine maintenance, what are we going to do? Well, that's where that third truck comes in. The third truck is very unique and special. It's a front loader, but it also has an attachment that when it's loaded down, it has an attachment where it becomes a side loader, and it can pick up your residential, or you remove the attachment and it can work as a commercial truck. We were looking at more of those, but trying to be efficient and smart with what we're spending, because that one does cost a little bit more. We thought this particular package covers what we need. It gives us the backup that we need, and it allows us to constantly have the 3 trucks on a rotation basis, so to speak. And again, the flexibility of that truck comes in handy to be able to do that. Now, we work through a broker. My understanding is in Texas, I guess you don't really buy from the manufacturer. You have to work with the broker. So Rush is a local broker, and he's talked to all these manufacturers, he's done the legwork, Mr. Joe Gonzalez. He's the one that we've met with a few times. As you recall, we also have Mr. Ray Alegria, who's representing the city of Palmview's interest and our best interest, making sure that what we're hearing and what we're saying is true. How do we know that they're just saying, oh, you need to move fast because they want to sell, so to speak? No, the reality is other cities are competing, other cities are placing orders. Mr. Alegria is here to answer questions or to speak to you as well, because again, he represents the best interest of the city of Palmview, to speak to that urgency, because it is an urgency. We thought, well, what if we wait 2 weeks? We have a meeting May 17th, but unfortunately, even 2 weeks might be too little, too late, because if you don't get that PO in, we might be saying, you know what, there's no more trucks, they're all gone, you have to wait 3-4 months before they prepare another order, and then wait a year and a half from that point at that time. So the items on the table for discussion, and we do have them as we.
Yes, can we have Mr. Lidia so he can explain the process and see where we're at in the situation?
Yeah, it's on.
Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners. Yes, I don't know if it's working or not.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, the time is in essence like Mr. Leo was saying, because simply, there's a lot of cities that are considering going on their own as well. Right now, the city of Downa is also as well, they've already allocated some monies to go out on their own. And they have a contract with their vendor for 2 years, and they're already reaching out, if I'm not mistaken, to Mr. Gonzalez as well. And at the time, I know when I came on board here to represent the city, I mean, it was, you all were a little bit behind. So now that, you know, I don't know when the contract is coming up with your current provider, now is the time of the essence because it's getting closer. And the time frame of the trucks, if you order the trucks, if you place the order, it's, like Mr. Leo said, it'll take anywhere from 12 months to up to 24 months. And the prices it'll fluctuate. It can go higher or it can go lower, but the chances are that it'll go higher because the way the price of metal is. So I'm recommending to go ahead, and we checked around, we looked around, and Mr. Gonzalez was a big help as well, as far as, you know, getting prices and quotes and all that. And Rush is one of the brokers, and like Mr. Leo was saying, and we came, of course, with the discretion with Mr. Leo, and he was also making letting you all aware as far as on the trucks. So the recommendation is what's in place. So the Corrado, what he's saying, so you can have an idea, that's the newer version. That's one of the newest trucks that is in place. Here in the valley, no one has that truck. It's basically up north, and what it is, it's I don't know if you have the view there, or the brochure of it.
Which one?
The Corrado?
It may not be there, I apologize.
Oh, no, it's not here. We only have,
Is that the one that's flexible?
oh, yeah,
with both?
the front loader with Corrado can.
Right.
You have the picture or no?
That-
No, no.
that's a-
Pass it around, pass it around, take a look at
That
it.
comes out at, what, 417,000?
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Alexander Flores has it, she'll pass it around, because we only have one copy right now.
That's 2 trucks in one, basically.
Right.
So
That's the one you were telling us that if one breaks down,
Right,
this one can convert to a side loader.
Correct.
Okay.
That'll be the backup, or you can
Right.
use either or. So, the recommendation is to do one front load, which is a commercial, which is the front, those will be the commercial, and one side load, which is the residential. And this can do both as well, you know, and you don't have to unclip and clip. For example, City of San Juan, just to use an example, City of San Juan has the older version, which is not too old, but it's been maybe like 3-4 years, where they have to, and those are used in rural routes up north. Those you have to put a clip and then go and do the front loads. Unlike this one just automatically, it's in there and automatically just goes up to the top of the truck and then it goes to the rest of the side. So you don't have to undo it, it's just automatic, just get on the truck and it just, you know, go up upon the business. So it's a little pricey, but it's basically 2 trucks.
Right.
I know the most important part of these vehicles are the equipment, right?
Yes.
That's what it is. And I know Peterbilt is one of the top of the line, but I know it's pricey. Did we look into any other,
We looked into Peterson, the other,
Max?
Heil.
There's a Mac here.
yeah, Max, Heil, and they're really up there in pricing. I think, you know, we do have some quotes and they're really up there.
They're,
The price. It beats.
They're a lot more
Peterbilt's a
expensive.
whole lot more expensive.
Right, Peterbilt and Peterson, and they're a lot more pricey. But this, the one we're recommending as well, the city of Westlaco has the one of the, which is a new wave. And that's the city of Westlaco, that's all they have.
I own Peterbilt too, I mean, but I know they're pricey.
That was the Hio, the models that we saw, no?
Right.
That was the Hio. And then here it says Peterbilt. Is
Peterbilt,
that
yeah.
the
It's
same?
got the-
What's the
Same?
difference would be if we would use the same equipment with the Mac, like this one?
Yeah, it's not too much of a difference. It's really like the name.
Or
Volvo.
Volvo or,
Yeah, basically what it is we're, if I'm not, I mean, maybe you can help me out if possible.
that's the only concern I have about it.
Right.
The equipment is the equipment, right?
Right.
But, the truck is the one that is.
We were able to get an estimate actually through another resource for Volvo Mack trucks out of Waco. Their side loader was 389,000. We're looking at 336,000. Their front loader was 379,000, and we're looking at 309,000. So they were about, 40,000 higher.
Right.
40 to 60,000.
Which one's
But
higher?
is this,
Volvo compared to, the Volvo Mack,
Volvo was higher?
Yeah.
Volvo and Mack compared to Peterbilt, what we're looking at.
this
Peterbilt is
quote
top of the
is,
line.
is talking about those trucks? Cause that paper said Heel and here it says Peterbilt, so I'm not sure if it's the same.
It gets a little confusing as far as, there's different parts, I guess, to the truck, and I don't know if Mr. Gonzalez can expand on it, but there's one that makes the actual truck, just I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, the cabin chassis.
The chassis,
Chassis.
right. And then there's another one that goes in there and puts the rest of the part up, so to
That's the
speak.
equipment I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And,
Now, is there an extended warranty on all of them? Cause I see that on the Peterson, for the brush grapple, there's a extended warranty on that one. What about on the others? The side
We have
loader?
it, on the side, yeah.
All of them
extended
we
warranty
should
is there.
have,
The only
was
one
they're
that's-
brand new.
Yeah, the only ones that we don't have the extended warranty, I don't think it was the grapplers. I don't know if we have the grapplers there.
Yeah, pues por eso digo. aquí,
Yeah.
they-
On the estimates that you guys got, we just got the official buy board one, about 30 minutes before the meeting, because we're trying to move fast, and it is listed, each item has an extended warranty protection plan. We're paying about $2,700 for each one.
28, yeah.
That's five,
For 5 years or
5
two?
year.
5 years.
So we're
For
taking
5
On
years.
each one.
on
And,
each one.
and, okay, that's like for the engine, for any attachment, or for what?
The engine,
The powertrain.
the engine, the powertrain, the transmissions
Okay.
have 5 years unlimited.
Mr. Hernandez,
So we're
do you
getting the
mind
full
coming up?
package.
If you don't mind, that way we can put you on the record. Yes. I'm sorry, Gonzalez. Hernandez, I'm sorry. Okay, for the record, Joe Gonzalez with Rush Truck Center.
Just about, let me answer the Peterbilt question that you were high. A lot of the other vendors are anywhere between 30 or up more expensive than I am.
Really?
That's why I have about 98% of the business
When you
in the
say
valley.
I am, you're.
Rush Truck Center.
So you work for Rush?
I'm a representative of Rush. I'm the
Oh.
salesman for the local cities and counties and school districts. My experience, I've been there 20 years, and normally everybody buys a Peterbilt, not only because of the name recognition, is the service.
The service.
Everything breaks down, gentlemen, everything. And who is better than Rush to take care of that? That's why everybody buys Peterbilt. Like I said, in 20 years, I'm cheaper, and yet I have the majority of the business from Harlingen all the way to Laredo.
And if we take a truck in there for repairs, how long is it gonna get, it's
That'll
gonna take to
vary-
get us
that'll
back?
vary
Because
on-
if you're that busy, I'm sure it's gonna take a while.
That's why we're the biggest. we
And
have
I
on
wouldn't
the
want
cash.
for our second one to break down on us.
No.
With
The
that-
the problem is, Commissioner, is that I'll have somebody take a truck to Kenworth, for example, and it winds up that Kenworth can't fix it, and it winds up in my yard for me to fix. And I've seen stuff like that numerous times.
Right.
My biggest customer is McAllen and City of Edinburgh. They're the biggest ones. The majority of all their equipment is Peterbilt. You're more than welcome to call them and ask them their experience with Rush.
Oh,
Right,
that's the thing, but we don't have time to do anything. We
No.
either pick this one or not
No.
pick any, right?
Right, what's happening
It
right
takes
now, last year, I needed 23 trucks and I didn't get any. This year, I got, in January, late January, they said, after us crying about it, we didn't get no trucks from the factory. We begged. They said, you got 10. So I have only 10 trucks and I need 15 right now.
Right.
So it's first come, first served. And even though I have real tight relationships with a lot of the cities, I'm telling them the same thing. First one gives me a PO, first one's gonna, put their name on a truck. That's the urgency right now.
So all the trucks are the same model, they just have different attachments?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes. Now, same thing on the body, like right now that you mentioned the Peterbilt, there's other bodies that are way more expensive than the New Way brand. Because these are New Way bodies.
And that's the one that currently, the city of Wesco, they went on New Way.
I sold all of them to City of Wesco. In fact, City of Wesco has received an appeal from them already, it's there at the office. They want 2 more, and they just started in January, but they know that the urgency, because they're gonna have about 2,000 more homes coming in. So they ordered 2 already. We got 2 appeal for 2 trucks already.
What's the
And-
difference between the models, between the New Way and the ones that are not?
There's one called a Iowa, Texas. They're more expensive. Iowa, Texas is more, a lot of electronics versus the New Way is more mechanical.
Now, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
So,
Did you
that's
ask me
one of the big,
about-
Yeah, sí, sí, sí.
there's more sensors on the brand Iowa
Mhm.
than on the New Way, more on the mechanical, and we're finding that a lot more of my customers are liking that,
Okay.
because they can actually work on the truck, on the body.
And not only
Okay,
that,
and what about, are we buying them or can we lease them?
I've never leased in 20 years. They've all purchased.
what
I would have to go back and ask if it's a possibility.
Cause see, but that's the thing, we don't have no,
We don't have time.
we don't have time, we gotta.
Number one and number
yea or
two,
nay,
keep in
and that's what I
mind,
don't like.
well, keep in mind what, a decision that we already made when we took out the money to
Well,
make
we
this
had the
purchase.
money set aside for
Yes.
that.
Yes, we already have
It's
that
a-
money.
it's a-
We wanna get the best one.
I did.
Absolutely, I
If I may, I did an assessment as far as throughout the valley. Here in the valley, you would think McCown would do a lease purchase, they're just outright purchasing. I asked one of the public works, director, and they said that they prefer to go that way, because the lease purchase is a wear and tear, and within time, and at the same time, you know how they depreciate after 5 years, so they use them as a backup versus turn them in, and they stay with it for another 3-4 years.
Right, right.
Versus a lease purchase. That's what I was told, that I did an assessment from, the ones here, which is Harlingen, San Juan, and, Wesco, they're just brand new, so they did outright purchases.
How long would they last?
That's my next question, the life
There's a lot of
expectancy.
wear and tear, gentlemen. Normally, the
how we
life
take care of 'em.
expectancy on a garbage truck is about 7 years.
Okay.
So you gotta think before the 7 years, which one do I need to replace to have a
So every-
backup?
every
And
year
that
you
one
have
you
to be
put on the
planning for this.
sidelines as a backup.
The one that is.
A lot of it also, the maintenance and
Yeah, I
how
was gonna say
the
that.
driver,
Right.
operates it as well. So that's, but the lifespan is between 8 to 10 years. Now, the difference, Ohio, like you said, it was, based on experience with, Republic Services, with the company, neat trucks would go down, and they would wait like 4 to 5 months with the brand new truck, because they were waiting for one particular sensor.
Right.
So,
No,
That-
that's way too long.
reference to New Way is more mechanical. That's the difference to where,
Peterbilt last year had 5,000 trucks built, and they were sitting in their parking yard. And they weren't completely built, because they were missing components. So what's happening right now, because the supplier chain can't keep up with the demand, and that's one thing. What they did this year, they said, instead of building 60,000 trucks, we're gonna cut it in half. And off that half, we're gonna allocate so many trucks per dealership. That's why I only got 10.
Right.
And actually, I need about 16 trucks right now.
That's in any
Every
transportation.
depot, that's only at the Peterbilt dealers. I don't know what happened with Kenworth.
No, I'm talking about cars, trucks, and kind of.
And you see
that's
it
why
in
the
the
car
car.
trend.
Transportation in general.
We don't see that this is gonna get any better next year.
No, it's gonna be, all gonna be special.
No, we don't see anything, next year is gonna get any better. There's no talk, as far as the vendors I talked to, that things are gonna get brighter. No one has said one positive thing about the supply chain, if it's gonna keep up with the demand.
So what do you guys think?
I mean, this is an initiative that I think we planned out some time back and got the funding from it. I think there's a lot of potential for us to expand, not just the Palmview area, but its neighbor cities. So there's a lot of potential for revenues in order to service
Well,
the
that was my next
I guess
question.
that's up, Mike, 'cause, you know, you're absolutely right.
If I may, I mean, I understand, it seems like it's really rushed, but it's the timing of the starting where it's, I mean, 'cause I know you all had in the past, if you all would've taken it like a year ago, started this planning, then it would've, you know, it wouldn't be, seemed like it was as rushed.
And that's what I don't like to do things on a.
And I understand, but at the time, how much longer do you have in the contract with your current provider?
Yeah.
So
1 year,
that's
not
it.
even?
And we
It's
did
less
that
than
1 year to give us the opportunity for us to proceed, but, you know, we
Mike.
got this opportunity for those trucks to get the
How-
PO and get those.
Now,
Right,
the-
how long will it take for us to recover the 1.6 million?
It's built into the model, was it 3 years for the payback? But even on year one, the analysis that was done, the revenues are sufficient to pay our expenditures and to pay the debt service on the money we put aside to be able to pay for the equipment. So,
Yeah, that's-
And the equipment itself, as far as for the, like, your carts and your commercial front loads, that, it'll take anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. So that's not the concern. The concern is the trucks. That's because the turnaround time for the equipment for the residents and for the businesses is anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. But keep in mind, for the metal containers, which are the front loads, the pricing it'll probably go a little bit higher. So that's gonna determine, but the main concern right now is the truck, and there's an opportunity as well, especially for, if I'm not mistaken, there's 2 brush trucks available. It's up for grabs.
Two for grabs.
So,
Right now.
right now, and the city of
Brush
Donna just currently had a meeting, and I went to that meeting for some, and, if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure he already got a phone call, so they're just, it's a matter of grabs. City's on
Donna has the money right now to spend. So I'm waiting on the body company to send me the pricing on the body, so I can put my deal together and send it to Bicor, give them all the specs on the trucks and the body. So Donna's ready. I spoke to him last week and caught me by surprise. They'll give me a PO immediately.
So you're saying no municipality leases their equipment, their trucks?
None that I know of.
The assessment I did, no, they're buying outright.
Outright they buy them.
Because that question was, I brought it up, and he wasn't aware, but then I did the assessment, and, no city that provides their own, they
Pick up
just buy outright.
leases.
They don't.
Guys, I understand that the rush part is a concern, I understand that completely. But, let's face it, this idea came about since 2014, we were here. Since 2014, Palm Beach Line.
Right.
We're already 2022. And, you know, if we don't get them right now, the price is gonna go up.
Oh, definitely.
Regardless.
And now,
So-
for some reason, if there's a surcharge between now and before I deliver them, I'm passing it on to the city. Because I've been getting surcharges that rush, our store is not gonna absorb. If there's a surcharge, I will let you know there's a surcharge, and I'm adding to that PO.
Right.
And what are those surcharges looking like? Like what are
I've
we
seen
looking at?
anywhere between $3,800 up to $11,000 because of steel prices.
what I would add is that
Right now.
we brought this meeting quickly, however, we've been working with both of these gentlemen for the last 4 months. Normally, we would keep working and do our due diligence, but in the last meetings that we had, that's where this urgency, gosh, the longer we wait, we may not get anything at all.
If
And
we,
we've also been utilizing another resource who works at another city who's been doing a lot of this legwork for us, and these are the same things that we're hearing from him, the same recommendations that he's given us as well. As a matter of fact, they got this same equipment and they're currently operating that equipment.
I
But
think-
we talk about equipment or the trucks?
Trucks, I'm
The
sorry,
trucks.
Yeah.
Trucks.
well, knowing that we do have the money set aside for all these things and your recommendation, Mr. Alegria, I mean,
Yeah,
I,
the discussions,
I take your word for it. I think you've done a good job as far as, this is concerned. So I'm gonna go ahead and so move to
We have a motion,
award
Second.
we have a motion, we have a
by board
second,
vendors.
to approve the award of the buying the vendor for the trucks. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Any questions, any additional questions, discussions?
Yeah, I still have questions.
Go
Just
ahead.
also
So
for the
what
council,
you're saying here is that we're giving you an open checkbook.
No, that's exactly what I'm about to say.
Because he said
You
if
are
we can
limiting,
have more, we can have
right,
more.
so the motion you have, based on the item you have, caps it at 1,686,000. If there is a church surcharge, it comes back to the council for approval.
Well,
So,
actually, for the record, we added a contingency of like about 5%, just in case to have some wiggle room in the end. But if it's a major change and a major charge, then yeah, we would come.
so the amount you're approving is 1.686.
That's it.
So
Nothing more.
whether it's cheaper and he already accounted for the surcharge or not, that's fine. But anything over 1.686 has to come back to council.
Right. And gentlemen, at the same token, the body company, those are the ones that are most expensive, the body companies, the actual garbage truck. They've told me, if we see that the price goes down, we will adjust our pricing to lower our pricing. So,
Okay.
it could be up or down, depends on what's going on right now with the economy.
Because this is the business, right? I mean, it's the business, that's what it is. And I believe starting a business, you start a little bit slow, so you go up, right? That's the way I look at business. If you start from the top, and I think we're starting from the top here. That we need it, that I want it. I'm just concerned about the pricing, but if that's what the majority wants, we'll.
I mean, the chances are that the rates, because of the way the price of metal is going, it'll probably go higher. The chances are, but at the same time, it's,
Everything goes up.
Yeah.
but that's also the time frame.
Say that.
The time is the essence. Now, you can wait, but then it's gonna take longer.
You're right.
No, I'm
Yeah, I
talking
don't-
about waiting. I'm talking about having two
But
different,
that's what I'm
two
referring to.
different kinds of bids, you know, okay.
Right.
Something, we have nothing to choose from, only this.
Right.
That's what I'm not comfortable.
See, yeah, I wish we could have seen maybe leasing options.
Another note is, normally, everybody
compare.
wants to buy trucks after October, when they get their budgets. As of right now, if, for some of those customers are gonna call me and say, hey, look, job ready to buy. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to have anything to sell to them next year. That's the scary part. I don't know if, I don't, and that's what I worry about.
But with all due respect, you're not the only dealer.
No, I'm not the only dealer, but you know, I don't know what, it could be the same thing with other dealers.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Maybe
what's
you
gonna
won't
happen
have it,
next
somebody
year.
else will.
Most likely, well,
That's what I'm talking about. Maybe you won't have it, right?
Yes.
And I understand that. It's like I said, I mean, I just like to compare pricing. This is just one price. You know,
I'm
that's
sure
what I'm
there's
concerned
other
about. I'm a
dealers,
little bit
but
concerned about.
I'm sure
Yes.
there's other dealers.
Again, just as a reminder, we got other quotes, we got other estimates, and she's gonna pass that around. The difference between those is that, one, they were higher, in most cases, there were some that were lower, but it didn't meet the needs. This is more like based on the discussions with Mr. Alegria.
And I do trust Mr. Leguía. I mean, I do trust him. I know he's, you know, he's doing the right thing here, but, you know, I was expecting seeing 2, 3 different bids, you know.
comparing the
not one.
contracts.
Right, we didn't go out for bids, we have the option to go out for bids, but as you know, that process in itself is gonna take time.
Sí.
We're using a buy board vendor, the law allows you to use a buy board vendor, because they've already kind of been pre-vetted through that process to make sure that they were getting priced. And you're
We
not,
have no choice.
Bottom, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's really, and that's why I based the decision as far as the recommendation for that.
But I hate to put it on hold, and then, gee, well, we
I
might not
think,
get.
I think based,
gonna
We're
go up
ready, we're
regardless.
ready.
There might not
We
be
might
trucks
to
to
do
do
that.
based on the fact that we have people, personnel around to give us, information that you guys already seek through different places, and we have different prices.
the Volvo map.
They were reached out, but at the same time, it's just the pricing, the amount. It's like buying a name brand, basically.
Right.
Yeah, you're
more
right.
expensive.
I mean, you know, I know about trucks.
Yeah, of course.
These are more expensive.
I know about trucks. No.
See, and I'm gonna elaborate a little bit on, as far as the containers and all that, so you can, you know, that one is not so much of a concern. It's just the pricing, which I'll elaborate a little bit.
Oh, está bien.
Do we have, any additional questions? Ms. Flores?
I'm sorry, my question was if we did not look at any options to lease, like, did we call any of the companies to see if that was
They did.
an option? Again, because kind of like what Commissioner Garcia was saying, we're brand new at this. You know, it kind of feels like we're taking a very steep dive.
But I think we have the personnel, Mr. Alegría had been in the business for a
Sí,
long
sí,
time.
sí, yes.
In the garbage business.
In the
I'm
garbage.
talking about the
The-
trucks.
The equipment, but I think they're knowledgeable about the trucks as well, and what trucks do we need in our community.
I reached out, and I reached out to Mr. Gonzalez as well, he was gonna look into it, but then we went this route, because at least it's gonna take a little bit more time, because a lot of the vendors, or the truck companies,
They're gonna sell first.
Exactly, that's what they said here. We got too many customers at this time, they're not asking to lease. And it's gonna take a little bit, because right away, I'm at their mercy as far as, if they're gonna respond and say, well, we're gonna look into it, because keep in mind, they're brokers, so the brokers are the ones that reach. We
So
can't reach out
demand
directly to the vendor.
Demand is higher than supply.
So that we're, at the time, at the mercy of the brokers as well. So they can take time, or they're gonna put us in the back burner, and they're gonna take us, and I can be pondering, calling them, hey, where are they gonna try to take care of this? Especially right now that a lot of cities are considering going on their own.
So another question, we already have the money allotted, we already have the money like set for this purpose. If, let's just say if we were to lease equipment, what would then happen with the monies that we have there? Michael?
No, that's a good question. I mean, we may, perhaps return it if they'll allow us to return it.
Okay,
What, return the truck?
No, the money. Again, if you
we
guys
wouldn't
recall,
use that
we
money to
voted
sustain the lease?
To take the money and put it aside to have it ready to make the purchases.
Mhm.
So we kind of already made the commitment.
Okay, so it's
So we
either
have
use,
to-
so
we
it's
have to
either
go-
use this for a purchase or we need to give it
Right,
back?
or go, because it was used for specific stuff.
Got it,
you know.
got
Just
it.
like your CO, just like this is an equipment finance, so to speak. We said it was gonna be for certain, for this, and this. If we lease and we don't need it to purchase that, then we go back to that bank and tell them, you know what, thanks, but we may not need it. Or if we wanna try to use it for something else, and we'll have to arrange it,
Like
renegotiate
restart
the
it again,
terms
restart it again.
of the agreement, yeah.
And then you'd have to build in the lease pricing structure into your future budgets
Yep.
for the remainder of the lease of what you're
I see is
doing.
that we're getting the trucks and all this, but we still don't have a yard. It's like buying the cows without a ranch. Where are we gonna put these trucks?
But we still have a year and a half before we get the trucks.
Yeah, that's a
Well, that's what I'm
planning
saying.
part.
Our
right?
engineers have been working on extending the warehouse that way towards the back, making a driveway. The idea is to you let the trucks
Don't
come
get
in
me
and
wrong, I
out.
wanna get this done. It's just the money, and that's what I'm concerned about.
So again, okay, well, the engineers are working on the setup here. What we are hoping for is that the sewer hookup happens sooner before we get the truck, because there's a lot of area that we have in the back where there's septic tanks and septic lines that we can't build on tap, we can't cement it, we can't pave it. So as long as that happens before we get our trucks, we have a lot of room to work with back to our point being. Now, as far as the money goes, again, yeah, it's a big commitment, but if this is the route that we're gonna go, we voted to put the money aside, we borrowed money for other stuff. This moves forward with that plan, or we stop and pause and.
I think the initiative we had was to expand our revenue services, and we knew it was gonna be costly, and we got the money for that purpose, and right now it's getting closer to the planning. I think Mr. Legueria has done a tremendous job to speed up the process and get those, so a year from now, we can probably, hopefully, be in service, and that'll give us enough time to plan the details, but I think the trucks are extremely important to service our community. We have so many issues with the trash, we have so many issues with brush, and this will alleviate that.
And
So
plus, there
a
is
lot-
gonna be some revenue coming in, so it
Well,
can start
Yeah,
paying for the trucks,
So
you know.
it's, we have a motion, and we have a second. Are any additional questions on this? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
I don't know if I may, just to bring you up a little bit up to date, what the next step would be also aside of this, be would be the negotiations on the tipping fees, which would be the landfill as well. So that'll be, just to bring you up to date, just so you know. And then the equipment for the commercial, just brief you real quick, there's only one company here in the state of Texas that provides the front loads, the metal containers. There's another company, and they also provide the carts, the plastic carts. That same company, which is named Waste Equip. They're based out of El Paso. But the sales rep is from Corpus. We've already met with her, and that'll be, I guess, we'll bring it up, but I just want to bring you up to date with that. And their turnaround time is 4 to 6 weeks, or 6 to 8 weeks, I'm sorry. Now, there's another company that only does, but they're out of Kentucky. They are the carts, the plastic carts. They might be a little bit cheaper. Wesco ordered some carts from them, City of Wesco, and they weren't too happy with them. There's some problems with them, with the lids. So just so you can have an idea of where we're at with that. So that's too much, I mean, that's not too much of a concern, and it is. In a sense, the time frame, it's a lot less. It's anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks for them to, so I just wanted to kind of keep you up to date with that. The next step will be the landfill, the negotiations for disposal once, you know.
And
once-
we have several options for that, or we have
Yes, there's several, there'll be two options.
the county and,
Well, no, the city of Edinburgh and
Okay.
Republic Services. Now, it's in the talks, I don't know if you all have heard or not, but there's a possibility, the county's already looking to their own landfill, but that'll take anywhere from 5 to 6 years before it materializes. But right now, there's two options.
So everybody goes to the same landfill?
Everyone goes to the Edinburgh or Republic. So that's where the negotiations, who's gonna be the lowest, and where's the best.
And how do those fees work, sir? Is that like an annual fee or?
No, they go, a lot of it goes by, City of Edinburgh goes by linear yards.
Mhm.
Republic goes by tonnage. So that's where the negotiations are gonna come in.
Like they give you a limit or como
No, there isn't a limit. I mean, they may give you, the more trash
you
is
throw?
taken,
Mhm.
the better it is. So
Oh.
they go by volume, because that's where their revenue is at. So, but that's where, that'll be the negotiations. And of course, once you all have set in mind, once it starts, you are gonna have to have someone to start getting the department in place. So that'll be, but, you know, Mr. Leo and I will be in the course with, it's already in discussions with that as well. So I don't know if you all have any other questions?
I think he's already covered.
we have a motion, we have a second. I don't know, Mr. Nacenseno.
But don't know the name.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
He was a,
Yeah. It's 12:45. I just want to clarify the public that this was a great discussion on the equipment for the trucks that we had initiated this process about a year ago. And we are now coming along with, we had that money reserved for that. So the questions were allotted to the equipment. But Mr. Alegria came in and gave us some information as far as the pricing and the setup and the details. So this is will benefit our community and the services as well, and it provides a revenue that is much needed for serve additional services for our community. So with this, it's 12:46, and I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a great day.